Alright. This is a video required for handling in object-oriented analysis, design and programming. It's about a small game which you had to make. It's had to contain at least 10 classes, have function overloading, virtual and non-virtual functions, static variables, and a high score which can be saved and loaded from the hard drive. Alright. This game here, it's you control the yellowish object move around the screen here, and move with the arrow keys, and shoots bullets with the spacebar. The goal of the game is to get a high score as possible by destroying enemies, and it goes on until you run out of health. You lose health by running into objects, but it also destroys them, so it gives a bit of health and score. So, and when you die, you get a message here. Unfortunately, I did not beat the high score, so this is a screen you get when you don't get it. And we just cheat a little bit around here. Just like set high score to current high score to 0, and so the default name like this. Save. Try again. So just hurry up and die like this, and this is the screen you get when you get beat the high score. So then you just write the name, Christian, and you get the econ rank, which is also the only one. Minor detail. Anyhow, for classes I have 10. Most of them contains of C object and derivatives, but I also have a class C GUI, which controls the graphical user interface. C string input, which I use to handle the string, which I use to type in the high score, and C timer, which I use to control the frame rate. I'll go through the first frame here, the first class here, which is C GUI. It stores the health and the score, and it has a rectangle to control the offset for when you want to put it on the screen. I have some constructor, functions to get and set the health and the score, functions to get the offsets, which are set in the constructor here, and a show function to show it on the screen. The next class I have here is the C object, which has a protected rectangle called box, which stores the offsets and the width and the height of the collision box, and just in general, which also uses the collision box. And then I have a velocities here, velocity on the x-axis and the y-axis, a constructor, function to set the coordinates, function which returns the rectangle, a virtual function which moves object around, and a virtual show function. Next class here is a C player, which inherits from a C object. In addition to the inherited information, it has a health variable, which is the health, a constructor, function to set the health and get the health, and a function which handles the input, which is when you control the arrow keys and the spacebar. Next up, there's the C enemy, which also inherits from C object. It has a score, which is the amount of points that it awards, and the health reduction, which is how much damage it does. Then I have the constructor, function to get the score and the health reduction, and a virtual function here, and Continue about this, I have yet another enemy, which is inherited from the enemy. It has an array containing two velocities, which are initialized in the prototype. No, that's wrong. Constructor is called, sorry. And a function to set the velocity, which basically choose between one of these two here by random. And that's it's the fast enemy, which also inherits from the C enemy. And it's basically just a constructor, which sets some different values compared to C enemy. Then there's a backwards enemy, constructor, and a virtual void function. Virtual move function, which, since it has some specific move requirements, as it moves from the bottom of the screen and up instead of the other way around. And there's a bullets, which has an instance of a struct called circle. It has a constructor, which sets also some different stuff. I have a function which sets the circle coordinates, the function which returns the circle, a virtual move function, and a virtual show function. And then there's a C timer, which stores different. It says what it does here. Starts the clock time when the timer starts, and paused, and status. The constructor which initializes stuff. Various actions of the clock: start, stop, pause, unpause. Functions to get the timer's time, and two functions to check on the status of the timer. The last class I have is a C string input, which contains a string and a surface pointer. Surface pointer, sorry, called text. And then I have some functions, which is the constructor, a deconstructor, a string function which returns a string, this string here, handle input, which handles text you write when you want to write the name for the high score, and a special show function, which basically just shows the stuff in the middle of the screen. So yeah, virtual functions, we got some different ones here. Let's get some move functions there that work pretty well. Here we have C object move. Checks, moves the x coordinates. Checks is too far to the left or right. If it is, it moves it into the screen again. Moves the y coordinates. Checks if it's too far up or down. Moves it into the screen again. And then there's we got the bullet move, for example, which says sets the y coordinates for the struct circle. There's a question box here, and if it went too far up, it sets the bullet spawn to be false. So, and then there's another one here, which is, for example, the C backwards, which moves the y coordinates here, and if it's if the y coordinates plus 50 is below 0, it moves it back down to the bottom of the screen again. Oh yeah, that was some virtual functions. What's the next part? Function overloading. All right. Check call. God damn it. It's right about just a moment. Yes. no. Alright, here we go. Here we have two functions here called check collision, which are overloaded. The first one checks for collisions between two rectangles, and this more specifically the player and an enemy. And the second here checks collision between a circle and a rectangle, and to be specific, between the bullet and an enemy. That's basically it. For the static variable, I have here, which is in the function, we take the current score initialize to be 0, and then adds just whenever it's added, and also return the score so I can use it in my GUI. That's it for the static. And in order for writing to and from the hard drive, we got down here in the main function somewhere. Yeah, here. Which is basically it moves, checks for collisions between the player and the box. If it finds a collision, it reduces the hit points. Updates the GUI to show the current hit points, and if the hit points gets below 0 or equal to 0, it says the boolean dead to be equal to true, and input file stream called highscore_in from the file called highscore.txt, and then it checks for if it's open and if it's currently working. And then it sees if the current high score, which is this one here, line.cstring, if it's bigger or equal to the current score, and if it is, it sets lol score, which is to be true, which controls whether or not it's bigger or less. So if it's bigger, oh no, never mind. It's easier to if it's less than so if the current score is less than the current high score, it sets lol score to false, which basically just says that you died and have to try again. And if it's set to true, it goes through this part of the while loop here, where if it's dead is true and the lol score is true. It checks for if it's a name entered, it has to be false. Then it takes a name input, name which is an instance of the C string input, and hands input then, and then it checks for if the enter key is pressed, and if it is, it says the name entered to be true, opens a out file stream called highscore_out to the highscore.txt document, writes in the first line of the document, it writes the current score and adds a new line. In the second line, it takes a get string, which is the string it has from here, and frees the old surface, beat high score, and adds a new method to the surface, which is rank first. And if it's false, it just goes like this down here, right? No, that's too. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, if it's true, it says it applies the surface of beat high score, and if its lol score is false, it just applies the no beat hard score, which yeah, that's it.